Welcome to Decades of Horror, the 1980s.
Official? Who do you think you are? The only thing official you've ever done is lick stamps. Now get off my place!
This is episode 183, recorded June 9th, 2021.
Gruesome Magazine.
I am your host, Jeff Mohr, and this podcast is about horror films released between 1980 and 1989. Each episode, my co-hosts Bill Mulligan, Crystal Cleveland, and Chad Hunt and I will tackle another classic or not so classic film from this radical, gory, influential, and gruesome decade. We are part of the Gruesome Magazine family of video podcasts, which includes Horror News Radio, the Gruesome Magazine podcast, Heroes and Droids, and Decades of Horror, the classic era of the 1970s and the 1980s. Please subscribe to, comment, and like on the Gruesome Magazine YouTube channel, or you can listen to audio-only versions of each podcast on most podcast apps by subscribing to Gruesome Magazine and Horror News Radio. Joining me tonight is Crystal Cleveland, the Living Dead Girl, and co-host of the Gruesome Magazine podcast. How are you doing, Crystal?
Oh, you were about to call me Cleveland?
I haven't done that for a while.
Actually. It's like a lot of people used to call me by my last name. So I'm good. I'm just, just ready to talk. I am so prepared to talk about this movie.
That's what we're all about.
So prepared.
But okay.
Also joining us is Chad Hunt, comic book artist and co-host of Decades of Horror, the classic era, and Decades of Horror, the 1970s. How you doing, Chad?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm good. Very good.
Wow. Clean as a whistle.
Clean as a whistle.
Oh.
There we go. And last but not least is Bill Mulligan, writer, director, and special effects guru, and co-host of Decades of Horror, the 1970s, and all-around pretty nice guy. How you doing, Bill?
I am awesome. I don't think I've announced this on any of the podcasts or anything, but late last week, right before Con Carolinas, I was informed that my first book is going to be published by Falstaff Books.
Yay.
And
That's awesome.
Yes, and it'll be like next November. I got to go through the whole. I've never done this before. Go through the whole editing process, which is considerable. But my editor is awesome, and I'm really looking forward to this. And I will be so insufferable when this happens. Quite frankly, my head will swell out.
So is this, are you allowed to talk about it? Is it a
I think so.
No
one's told me otherwise. It's a horror, kind of an urban fantasy. Dark horror. I'm kind of going. People need to explain to me what the difference between urban fantasy, dark horror, and just plain horror is. But the elevator pitch is an ambitious lawyer accidentally summons a demon and tries to use it to advance himself up the corporate ladder, and the demon is less than pleased with this arrangement. So it's a battle of wills between two malevolent creatures good at contract law. So that's
that's fine.
Demons, lawyers, who wins, who cares? So it was fun to write. I did it as a movie script, and then I decided, this movie may never get made. Let's turn it into a book. How hard could that be? Pretty darn hard, but
So now you've already got the script ready for the movie to be made off of the book.
Indeed,
That's
I
convenient.
do. So
I would think it would be, now maybe not. I would think it would be hard to go from a.
It actually is, because what you end up realizing is that a lot of times when you adapt a movie to a book, there's not enough material because movies are lean and mean and 90 minutes or so. And a lot of, you realize this isn't going to be long enough. But then it's a novel. So if I want to digress and go into a chapter of backstory that doesn't really necessarily advance the plot, but does something else, yeah, there you go. So you start adding stuff in there and extending it. But yeah, there's a lot. But if you have a screenplay, you've got the plot, you've got the theme, you've got the dialogue. You just don't have descriptions. You got to put it in there. It's like, does this character have a nose? If so, how big? Yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of my thought was you've envisioned all this stuff, and then you turn it over to the director and a cinematographer who take off on their own visions. But in the book, you're allowed to really describe in detail what your vision looked like.
And you have a bigger budget.
Yeah, you have a huge
Yeah.
budget. It's like,
Yeah.
I want a space armada to show up, which is something nobody wants to see in a script. The word armada.
Okay.
So anyway, that's very exciting, and
That's
great.
congratulations.
Thank you
That's
very much.
awesome. Yeah,
I'll be letting
that's
you know
super
how it's
awesome.
going.
I'm so excited for you.
Where
Good
do
for
you figure out who my characters are based on? Mm-hmm.
Oh, so is
Schmistel Schmlevelin. Who could that be?
oh my god, I can't wait.
No,
Who's
actually,
that?
I didn't do that. I didn't
And
do
the
that.
dork,
Yes,
the
you
dork
did.
from-
Oh, the dork. Oh, just spin
Nebraska.
the wheel. I have so many people I
Oh,
can
anyway.
pick from that. But it's Chad.
I
All
love.
right.
I'm so.
Let's-
It's really exciting. Congrats! Like I
Thank
can't
you,
wait
sweetie.
for you.
as
I'm
much as
down
I'd like
to-
to spend time
Sorry.
talking about
Yeah.
this.
I
think
know.
it's very
We
cool.
gotta.
And I think, well, writing is it's hard. Writing is hard, I think.
Yeah.
Well, writing, it's hard. It is hard.
Editing.
I always like the output, but it's a pain getting there. And when I read it late, like a year later, I go, that's not too bad.
Oh yeah,
I hate
no,
it.
that's true. That's true. You hate it, and then you go back and it's like, there's some nuggets in here that are.
Did I write that?
I was too hard on this. And then you run it through a grammar check, and you're like, oh no, there's the problem.
Oh.
You're right. I suck. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm totally. I'm sure I use wrong words and commas, and punctuation is ridiculous. All right, our topic tonight, and interestingly enough, well, I'll get into that in more detail. Our topic is Dark Night of the Scarecrow, 1981 television movie, actually,
Yeah.
directed by Frank D. Felitta.
Sure.
Anybody have a better pronunciation?
Yeah.
Sounds
No,
good to
that
me.
sounds right.
Okay,
Felitta.
written by J.D. Feigelson, wrote the teleplay and the story, and he was helped out on the story by Butler Handcock. Cast includes Larry Drake, Charles Durning, Jocelyn Brando, Tanya Crow, Lane Smith, Robert F. Lyons, and Claude Earl Jones. This is a Wizen production. Filmed in Peru, and release date, and in fact, when it aired, was October 24th, 1981 on CBS, and I believe that was a Saturday. It seems like I saw something about it being a Saturday. In fact, I just remembered where I saw that, so I'll pull that up in a minute. And this is the titular character on this picture.
He said titular.
It's a dark night, and that's a scarecrow, so we got all the bases covered.
It's Butler Handcock.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm a child.
I should check
must have
that,
had a
but I
great
have
life
half a
in
notion
grade
that's a pseudonym. Yeah.
Oh, wait,
Or
how
maybe a
bad
full
could his
name.
real name be if he changed it to Butler Handcock?
Oh, God.
All right. So, also known as, now this is killing me because there's 3 different German titles. I don't
Oh,
know
wow.
why they do that.
Den
But
Dino.
Die Nacht der Vogelschuka, the Night of the Scarecrow. That's actually the Night of the Scarecrow, but it sounds so weird compared
So
to
that's
that.
German for scarecrow is Vogelschluck. Oh.
Apparently.
Farfignugan.
You know.
Yep.
Yeah. And then there's Die Rache des Gelinkten, the vengeance of the lynched.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
I like
Wasn't actually lynched, but-
Farfignugan myself.
Yeah.
yeah. And then Scarecrow and Toter Schlick zurück.
Huh.
A Dead Strikes Back.
A dead
Okay.
strikes.
So they're like
Okay.
this. I guess that's the zombie title, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sounds
Which brings
legit.
us to the taglines.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Chad,
Oh my god.
ready, Freddie?
Well, I'm never ready for these. Really? Really
Yeah.
with these?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The original classic.
Doesn't that imply that there was a remake or something that I'm totally not aware of? The original classic.
I have.
Well,
I think Disney did something. and
Yeah,
this, I always
I'm
get
like-
this
Dr.
confused.
Sin, the Scarecrow. That was awesome.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. That
Which
I always
was way
get
before
confused.
this.
Oh,
So
yeah,
they-
actually. The Scarecrow. That was a great series. Oh,
Oh,
wow.
that was Dr. Sin, the
Take me
Scarecrow.
back.
Yeah, Patrick McGowan.
I think that might have been something that went on the, the Blu-ray, the restoration.
Yeah, probably.
Uh-huh.
That would be my
all right,
guess.
that makes sense. What's the next one, Chad?
Mm-hmm.
An all-new chiller for Halloween.
All new chill. Oh, okay, that's fine. I mean,
Sure.
it's not really. It doesn't really seem like a tagline.
Yeah,
More just sounds
just
like.
here
But
you
it's
go,
that's
kids.
okay
It's just
because they brought it out for Halloween.
selling point.
Yeah.
Next one's good.
There is other justice besides the law.
I like that.
Yeah, that's pretty
Mhm.
good.
That's a
But
good.
then, this
Well
last
said.
one, the last one is problematic. Go ahead.
What has this girl done that is driving the town mad? What is this terrible act people are about to commit? And who is the only person who can save her?
What the hell movie did they watch to come up with that tagline?
Sounds like an Andy Griffith episode.
What has this girl who's like 10 years old done that is driving the town mad? Absolutely nothing.
Is
Apparently,
the town
the only one they talked to
being
was
driven mad?
Charles Durning. Huh?
Oh God, yes. They see never
better.
get your taglines from a pedophile mailman. That's, I think, a lesson that we all
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah. Oof, rough.
Named Hazelrigg.
Hazelrigg. Ooh.
Okay. That was his name. That was Charles Durning's character's name. Let's go into first impressions. And I picked this, so I'll go first. So the reason I picked this, after we, in case you're paying attention, and I just always assume nobody is, but we did announce that the next episode was going to be The Nest. And some of us took that as more of a concrete suggestion than others. But we had a change, although we didn't change it everywhere. But anyway, The Nest became like kind of pricey. So we switched. And this film is one that I have seen several of our listeners talking about online on social media. I don't want to name any names because I might get something wrong or get it out, but they talked about, do you remember that TV movie? Oh, that was great, So I thought I better check this out, and it's damn good. It's got a great cast. It's well shot. The current version available on Amazon Prime is beautiful. I know they just I don't remember exactly the year, but they did they restored it, a restoration project, and put out a Blu-ray of it, of which there's a little thank you at the end of the Prime version that says here's the pristine version for all our fans or something like that. But this is a awesome cast. Charles Durning is great. There's like the four. I don't know. I should have thought of a good name for them, but the four ne'er-do-wells that are played by Charles Durning, Robert F. Lyons, Claude Earl Jones, and Lane Smith. And then we have the little girl played by Tanya Crow, and then her mentally challenged friend, Bubba, played by Larry Drake, and Bubba's mother, Mrs. Ritter, played by Jocelyn Brando. And that's probably 95% of the screen time, those 7 characters, right?
Yeah.
And they're all excellent, I think. The music, I thought that the music was perfect. Early 80s horror movie, ratchet up the mood when they needed to, creepy in certain parts. Not very bloody because it was network television. But there's some pretty dastard implied kills. And I thought the very end of it was kind of chilling. And this is one that I ended up watching it 2 or 3 times because I watched it once to see if it was something I might want to pick, and then picked it. Then I watched it again, and we rescheduled, so I watched it again because I don't remember shit more than 2 days. So every time I watched it, I liked it more. So I guess I'll leave it there and throw it over to you guys. So and my new method here is just, I assume the row on the side of me in the pictures is random, like according to who comes on first. So
Probably.
I just go down the row.
Yeah, that's probably.
Winner,
Yeah.
winner,
No.
chicken dinner. Hey,
It's easy. It's easy.
I thought that I had seen this movie. I was 100% sure I'd seen this movie, and I started watching it and very quickly realized I had not. There's a lot of Scarecrow movies out there, so I guess I just got it mixed up with something else. And I was shocked at how much I instantly got into this. At first, it is a beautiful print, and that's not always true for the TV movies of that time. I was a huge fan of horror TV movies back in the day. They weren't, there's not a lot of blood and gore and stuff, but they were efficient. They told a good story. I just like that kind of style. And this may be now, next to Night Stalker, which of course is the pinnacle, this may be my favorite horror TV movie. I like this better than Gargoyles. I'll need to watch it a few more times. I mean, I love them both, but this was fantastic. It told a very simple EC Comics style story, and I've always been a sucker for EC Comics. Good, evil, vengeance. That's how it goes. The cast was great. Larry Drake played this character so often that we were discussing, some of us kind of were under the impression that he was in fact mentally challenged, and he wasn't. He's big, and he's able to convey that look. Now, if you see him in, say, Darkman or something, you realize that he had a bigger range than this. He got typecast because he was so good at playing this role. He played Benny in L.A. Law and won a number of Emmys, and I honestly thought it was legit, which is a sign of a good actor. He's very sympathetic in this role, and you're rooting for justice to take place, and because Charles Durning is the biggest jerk. I mean, he's on the Mount Rushmore of jerkdom with Vic Morrow from Humanoids from the Deep. I mean, he's a jerk. At first you think he's kind of like a comical, hateful, spiteful little small town idiot who lords over his power and being a mailman and everything. And then when he gets the chance, a mailman. Well, I'm a government employee. He's got a pith helmet. When it's time for him to be a vigilante, he's all gung ho and everything about it. But he's just a jerk. And then as it goes on, you begin to realize, there's some projection going on here. This guy's way worse than we thought he was. He's still a punk and a creep and everything else, but he's got a darkness there that's probably what is driving him to be so judgmental of other people, kind of, which is true in real life too. I really, really like this pick. It's at my age, with all the movies I've seen and everything, it's pretty hard to find stuff from the 70s and 80s that I've missed that I'm not glad I missed. And this one is definitely one of my happy surprises on this podcast. Thanks so much. And thanks to whoever did the restoration. I hope they would do this to all because there's a few others out there I wouldn't mind revisiting. And if they look this good, it's fantastic. I mean, it's low budget. It's a TV movie. They don't have all the camera movements that they would have had in Hollywood and everything. So, they make do and tell stories perfectly cast. Every one of those goobers is great. And these are people who had long careers, and you say, yeah, I know that face. So, a fun film. I highly recommend it to anyone who hasn't seen it, if you know anybody like that.
Well,
yeah.
No. So, okay. So I'll just go ahead and say I thought we were watching The Nest, so I watched The Nest. That was my bad. I didn't check anything and update all of my stuff. So I have not seen this movie. So.
Oh, well.
I'm highly supportive of this movie, though, because I looked it up and it looks awesome. I've never seen it before, though. So now I'm really actually kind of sad because it does look pretty amazing. And I love Charles. He was amazing. Yeah. And so I'm definitely going to watch it after this. I'm just here to show support now.
There you go. And don't be sad. Everyone should envy you. You get to watch this awesome movie. We've already seen it.
Yes, actually. But in Crystal's defense, we have the title, or I have the title listed in like 3 different places. And the one place I didn't change it was the place that Crystal gets the title from. And so it's my bad. So
I should have known
And-
though, because we all usually do them for free, and I had to pay to watch it. But I just thought, well, I'm watching it so late, that I'm probably the
Yeah.
only one. So I just did.
We
it.
will do it. We'll do that movie though. That
Yeah.
one's worth doing, I think. So
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Chad, out of your Zen trance there, are you?
It looks so dark there. It almost looks like you have a vignette.
It looked like
around
you were
your-
looking gone.
Mhm.
Well, I was
It's like,
I was on one of the Dragon Con panels, and they said it was too bright. So I was too bright, so I tried to darken it up a little bit.
I like it.
So, oh well. It's scarier this way.
Had you seen
Scarier
that?
this way.
Had you seen this before, Chad?
Yeah, I saw it when it first came on TV.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
And I saw it few years after that, somewhere. I can't remember exactly where, but this is like a very cool episode of Tales from the Crypt or something like that. And as a kid, well, I wasn't really a kid then. I was like 15, but I remember really digging this movie. I thought scarecrows were pretty scary back then, and I hated Charles Durning in this movie. I hated him so
'cause
bad.
He's a bad guy.
Yeah, because he's a bad
Yeah.
guy, and he played a good bad guy. So he really made me hate him. And the other three just kind of went along with it, even though they were complicit in the murder of Bubba there. And what I really dug about it is what I did not notice as a kid watching it. There were some darker undertones in this movie that, as a kid watching it, you really didn't pick up on. Like Bubba's mother was basically told Charles Durning's character that you're a pedophile. I've seen the way you look at the little girl and this and that, and she didn't say it in those words, but
Right.
that was the implication. And so that was interesting. And some parts where they couldn't show blood, they would cut from the almost murder to Large Marge putting raspberry jam on the plate.
That
there.
was so
But that was
funny.
great, wasn't
That was
that?
brilliant.
That was awesome. It was a good way to imply gore and
Yeah.
murder without really doing it. Plus, you
Laughed
had
out
Large
loud.
Marge there.
Yeah.
But what I really was always impressed by and really love about this movie is the ending. You have no idea if that's really Bubba, if he survived, if it's a ghost, or if it's someone else from town that knew about it. It doesn't tell you. And that ambiguous ending, it will haunt you for the long after you've watched the movie. And that's what I really like about it. And because you never find out. You really never find out who it is or what's causing all this. But there is implication that it's a ghost because of the big tractor that chased Charles Durning through the field. There's some weird stuff going on, that wasn't really explained.
Although you could argue how much of that is real and how much of that is in the guilty imaginations.
Panicked guilt, yeah.
Yeah.
So that the ending really drove it home for me, and really, I mean, it's a like you guys said, it's a beautiful print on Amazon. It's a beautifully shot movie, and for me, it was always it was a generic ghost revenge movie up until that last 15 minutes, 10 minutes or so. And it just really, like you said, Jeff, it was chilling and it's haunting. I mean, it stays with you for a long time after that. But yeah, this is a great film for a TV movie. Yeah. Very well done and very well acted. Had some cool actors in it. So yeah, I loved it. I love this movie.
Yeah.
And those are my first impressions.
Yay! So let's look at some details we have here. We got to do some posters, and that's actually a great poster. I'm assuming, and there's a quote from Vincent Price there. that I don't remember exactly what it says.
Marvelous.
Large.
I was terrified.
Yes.
Oh, at
But I
the
assume
bottom.
we're not-
I kept looking. I was like, I don't see
Yeah.
it anywhere. Oh.
That's almost a Town That Dreaded Sundown poster.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So that
And
one
so
on
on
top,
the-
I guess, is the ad for the actual TV.
Yeah, it looks like a TV Guide ad.
Yeah,
Right.
it does. Clear down at the bottom, it says CBS Saturday Night Movies. So that's where I was.
See,
getting
this
the
is
Saturday
why
night.
I didn't see it, because I would have been in college and it would have been like near Halloween on a Saturday. I wasn't that big a loser. I was out having fun, on the weekends.
And that's where the "What has this girl done that is driving the town mad?" That's crazy. That's like written
What
like
is-
they talked to Charles Durning's character. Well, Charles Durning
Yeah.
at the end goes a little crazy and thinks
Right.
she's the one killing everybody.
Let me
She
just
might
point
be
She may have
out.
been. She
Let
may
me
have
just
been.
let me point out the one interpretation I was thinking of the ending is that maybe this girl is calling the shots here.
Ooh.
We have a couple.
Maybe she. Sorry.
Yeah, I hate that one on top. That the dog is my favorite part, though.
It looks like Fred from Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah. I don't know what, and they're chasing the Gimp from Pulp Fiction, so none of that makes sense. But
Okay,
the one
so
on the
that is
bottom-
different. The Dirac des Cloven. That's different from the.
Yeah, I guess that's the German.
Well,
But
No, that
the
was
one on
one.
the,
From the German.
That was one I said.
That wasn't.
yeah.
Oh, it was. It was
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
that
second
was-
one or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Winston. That was the one that was the Vengeance of the Lynch.
That video on the
The
bottom,
Vengeance.
I think the company was Prism Video. I saw that video 1,000 times in every video store that existed. Maybe that's where I got the idea I'd seen the movie, because I've seen that picture, that particular, and it was probably a horrifying, crappy print. Prism videos were not the best. But yeah, that was a real popular one for the horror section in your local mom and pop video store back in the day. Lost track.
And we did say the director is Frank De Felitta, which is actually I
Oh.
knew him as a horror author,
Yes,
so I was
and
surprised that he directed this.
these were two of the ones that he wrote. That were might be covered one day. Audrey Rose and The Entity. I remember The Entity a lot, and he also did a weird
The
sci-fi
Entity.
movie called ZPG, Zero Population
Yes.
Growth, with Oliver
Yeah.
Reed.
Oh, so he did that?
He wrote that one too.
Okay.
Yeah. He's not a name that I'd really ever registered before, but he's got a couple of good projects under his belt.
I knew his name well from looking through horror sections in bookstores. It was
Yeah.
those two books were pretty big.
Yeah. And The Entity was.
And he does a good job directing this.
I thought so. I'm surprised he didn't do more. Hey, Jay.
Hey,
You ever read his books, Chad? Frank?
I read the Entity. I read The Entity.
Okay.
I have not read Audrey Rose.
Boy,
Entity, anyway.
I miss the days when you could go into a drugstore and the paperback rack was just like
Yeah.
the best. There were the horror ones. There were the pulp Doc Savages and Edgar Rice Burroughs. There were a couple of obviously skeevy-looking adult ones with lurid
Conan the
titles.
Barbarian.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there was some great stuff.
The Man from Stud.
Gore, Outlaws of
You never
Gore,
read The Man from Stud?
Barbers of Gore, Bath Towel Attendants of Gore. Just like, I tried reading one of those once. Holy God. That was oh, man. Oh, just terrible.
So we've talked quite a bit about Larry Drake, but he is really good in this, and these are key scenes.
Oh, does the girl die?
Does she?
Well,
I think we should probably reveal.
Do you want to be spoiled, Crystal?
Oh, I
she
don't
wants
care.
to be
It won't
spoiled.
spoil. Yeah, it doesn't spoil anything for me
No.
if I know.
No,
Okay,
but
good.
Charles Durning and the boys think he's dead.
Right. Which
And
does
they killed her.
somewhat mitigate their crime in that they actually believe this guy is not just, they've always had their suspicions that there was something
Oh,
weird
so they
about
lynch
him.
and then he
Yeah.
becomes the Scarecrow. Is that the story? I know nothing
Apparently.
about this, so
Maybe.
Yeah.
okay.
Well,
Piecing
even
it
then,
together.
so Jocelyn Brando plays his mom. That's the top picture, and she tells him, "Remember what we did last time? Like apparently this is a
He gets bullied a
usual
lot.
thing. You have to play the hiding game." So he goes and hides as a Scarecrow. He dresses himself up as a Scarecrow. So it's hard to
Clever.
see in the
It's
shot,
like,
but his eyes, you can see his eyes in the Scarecrow eye hole.
It would have worked if it wasn't for that meddling bloodhound.
Yes. It was.
yes.
Damn bloodhound.
These guys are so
Bloodhound.
stupid.
Mhm.
They're so stupid. The dogs are like barking at the Scarecrow. It's like, shut up there, Buford. It's just a Scarecrow. Barking. And like, it never even occurs to him. It's like, yeah, that Scarecrow that's about the size of Bubba. Then they finally see his eyes, his terrified eyes, and they're like, by golly, he tried to outsmart us. Well, he almost did, and that's a pretty low bar to jump over.
So I think it was Chad, or I don't remember which one of you said that how Charles Durning is the obvious leader in this, and the other three guys just kind of go along.
Yeah.
When they shoot Bubba as the Scarecrow, I think Durning is the only one that's actually looking at him with the first shot. The other guys are like turning their head or shutting their eyes, or the gun just kind of goes off and he jumps, and it's very strange.
But Durning has it out for him. I mean, from the get-go, he's like spreading the word around here. There's something wrong with that guy hanging out with that little girl. Like, he's being all concerned about it, which of course turns out to be,
Which actually kind of leads to what Chad said. I didn't think about that, but he might have actually been he either had a thing about the mentally challenged, or he was jealous.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he also knows he's not going to get any shot at that little girl when he got Larry Drake hulking around her. I mean, he may not be the sharpest knife in the drawer, although I think I'd have Larry do my taxes before any of those other YouTubers did.
So she gets attacked
big.
by a dog, Crystal, and Bubba saves her. And then
But she's presumed dead. She's presumed
dead, but she's not. And then these guys spread the rumor that Bubba killed her and go off and kill him. And then right after they kill him, they get a message that, we called it all off. She's alive. And, by the way, Bubba saved her.
Like, oh, yeah.
So, like,
she actually gets attacked by a dog.
And then they stick a pitchfork in his dead hands to make it look like, well, we had no choice. We had to defend ourselves against this guy who is tied to a post. I mean, hello, but it's a small town, and they have.
That's impressive too, because he tied himself to the post. Apparently,
they have a good small town lawyer. He's good because he shouts a lot and objects. He objects to everything. So
that was an interesting court, wasn't it? The court session was more like a debate between the two lawyers than an actual. So and here he is.
Yeah.
Look at him.
The other lawyer being Glenn's dad from Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh yeah,
Johnny Depp's dad.
Yeah.
So Larry represented us. I mean, Dr. Giggles.
Dr. Giggles for sure. Yeah.
Which,
that's a big movie.
Yeah,
I love that movie.
Did they make a sequel to that? Was it just one?
I think it's only one.
I'm thinking there was.
It feels like there should have been
if there was a sequel, I didn't see it. Damn.
Yeah.
And Durant.
Darkman. Yeah, he was a good. I mean, interesting villain, multi-layered. Just interesting villain in Darkman. Darkman's a strange little movie. I like it. Yeah, me too.
Has he been in anything recently, or is he?
He passed away.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't. Yeah.
And about 5 years ago.
And I think he was very much typecast, and I'm sure I think that kind of bummed him out a bit. When you're physically imposing, you're either going to be bad guys or simple guys, depending on just what does your face look like when it's relaxed. Now you see, he was great as Dr. Giggle. He's absolutely terrifyingly malevolent there, and the idea of a scary dentist.
So over the top, evil.
Yeah.
It was such a.
Maybe there wasn't a sequel.
But
he
yeah,
did very well in this. I thought he's
Yeah.
Well, he was in both. He was in Darkman and Darkman 2. So
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is, I don't know how they pulled that off since he was
So go ahead.
clearly
Yeah, he
built
was
above
really
that
good,
one.
wasn't he, Chad?
yeah.
And he was great in L.A. Law. That's Benny in L.A. Law, who was just a walk-on supporting character that slowly people liked him. They just naturally liked the character, and they started bringing him more and more into the stories, and gave him a girlfriend, and he became he didn't become a lawyer, but he became a more integral part of the firm. And that was a favorite show of mine back in the day. L.A. Law. That whole time when it was L.A. Law, St. Elsewhere, Hill Street Blues.
Yeah.
The real beginning of the kind of TV that we see now. Just good stuff. He was a good actor, likable when he wanted to be. I don't think he was too likable as Dr. Giggles, but he was, likable, evil, watchable.
I don't think I saw him anything that I didn't think he did a good job in. So,
Well, he's done a lot of anthology stuff too. I think I saw Tales from the Crypt and
That sounds familiar.
Werewolf.
He
He
was
was
in
in
the
an
very-
episode of Werewolf.
He was in the very first episode of Tales from the Crypt. He played the Santa with the axe.
oh my
Oh,
God,
that's
yes.
right.
Yes.
That's right.
Oh,
Oh my
perfect.
God, yeah,
That's
yeah,
perfect.
wow.
That's good casting
Yeah.
right there.
Mm-hmm.
And he
I'm like,
was
as soon
really
as you
good
say
in
it, we're
this.
like, yes.
I thought I saw
I mean,
Gruesome.
Bubba's a simple character, but but he did it well. I mean, he really felt bad for him. The terror that he felt, like when he saves her from the dog and everything, and then he's holding her, and the mother opens the door, and there she sees it. Now it's like, okay, what is she supposed to think? This huge big guy that probably she's heard from her mailman needs to be watched and everything, but he seems like a good soul. But there he is holding her daughter, who just looks like a broken doll. It's like watching Frankenstein, holding this little broken kid and all covered in blood. And he's blubbering. I couldn't even understand what he was saying, but he was basically saying, I didn't do it, or it's not my fault.
Bubba
or
didn't
something.
do it. Bubba didn't
do
yeah.
it. Well, come on. I think it's a reasonable thing for any parent to see that, to think, okay, yeah, Bubba totally did this.
Well, maybe just assuming since he's so big, it was an accident of being
he's
a little
doing-
rough.
he's doing
He
Lenny-
knows.
Yeah, he's doing Lenny
he
from
knows
Mice
from
and Men.
experience he's going to get blamed.
And by the way, if
just
he
in that
never
role.
portrayed Lenny of Mice and Men, that's a sure bet that we missed, because he would have been
Yeah.
fantastic in that role.
Well, another surprising standout for me, anyway, is Tanya Crow as the little girl. She was really good, I thought. Really
Yeah.
natural.
How old
Is
was she in this?
Has she been in other stuff? I don't know that I
She was
recognize.
most famous for Knots Landing. She played a character
no.
on Knots Landing and then I think retired and raised a family.
She was 10.
Oh, okay.
When
She
this,
was 10 when she made
was
this?
shot, probably. So
Wow, she looks a little older, actually.
Well, okay, that top photo, is kind of cool, in a creepy way. So it's at the church Halloween thing, and she's dressed up. She and a bunch of the other kids are dressed up as grown-ups, and that's when Charles, the pedophile Durning, shows up. Where am I? Here I am. Shows up, and he's looking at her, and you're just thinking, well, this is his dream come true. A 10-year-old girl who's got lipstick on, and yeah, it's so disturbing. But she's a beautiful
Creepy.
child and a really good actress. I mean, her scenes with Bubba did not feel forced. The scene at the end that Chad mentioned, like, really kind of gives you the chills, because you're like, okay, what exactly is going on here? Who's she talking to? It's just full of questions that want to be answered. She's excellent in this film. And kids are not always good when you put them in movies. And I'll just put that right out there. They can look great as soon as the camera comes on. Kids in horror, we've tried to shoot horror movies with kids who were so spooked by the makeup that it was a lost cause. Now, in fairness, the makeup was like by Sierra Ayres and was so terrifying. I was getting spooked. But we did a movie, and we could not get this kid not to, we did everything we could to try to make them feel at ease. But it's a monster. There's a monster in the bed next to him. course, it's not really.
Aren't they supposed to be scared though? Oh, but not at that point.
Yeah, but not so scared. So scared they couldn't get the line out. You know.
Wow.
Yeah. But she's great. She's really, really good. I'd say it's sad that she, didn't stay in the business long, but.
Well, if you believe they had this little friendship type relationship going on, and she did a good job on that end of things. You never got the feeling you got when Charles Durning confronted her in that top picture at the party. Yeah. There was no malice there. It was just a friendship, a true friendship, and she played that off really well, I thought.
Yeah. And she also has this intelligent look to her that, like she's on to Durning. She's not fooled by this guy for a minute. And he's trying to play the good guy and everything else, and she's just not having any of it. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Well, she was really good with, I don't know what you call it when you're acting, but she was really good with the stuff she was doing when she wasn't saying a line.
Like responding and listening.
Yeah, she'd say something to Bubba, and then she's always looking him in the eye, which we talked about an actor in a movie recently that was having problems with that. But she always looked him in the eye, and then she's just really naturally going back to what she's doing, waiting for him to come back with what he's doing. I was just really impressed. And like here's the evil.
Oh wow. Yeah. These are good shots. Look at him down there. He looks so messed up.
That top shot's
well, cool. And he gets in the last. It is. They were having a Halloween party, right?
So he's looking through the decoration on the window. Yeah,
that's what I thought.
That's true. Yeah. It's weird because when you think of Charles Durning, I just think of the roles. How many times? Well, besides Sisters, how many times he played like a bartender or a priest or a cop or he's not a tall guy. He's got an everyman quality to him and everything, but there's usually it's likable. I mean, he can be, as you showed here, he can be a mean little son of a bitch, but most of the time he's like your grandfather or your uncle or something. I mean, he's a great supporting character actor. How many credits does this guy have? I mean,
it should be a lot.
Yeah. And it seemed like he was doing.
Well, did you see who would originally cast in that part? Strother Martin.
That would work.
Yeah, that would work too.
Yeah,
I would have been. I mean, I it's hard to see anybody but Charles Durning, but Strother Martin always adds memorable performance.
Strother Martin, I think, would be more inherently scary. Part of this,
he would bring a lot of baggage to this.
Yeah,
to that.
Durning starts out as a kind of a ridiculous character. You're sort of laughing at his pretentious, when he calls the vigilante. I could not get over that army helmet that he's wearing as he's just going around in a pickup truck hunting for this guy. Like this guy did not spend one day in the army, but he thinks he's the mighty hunter.
Yeah, he's wearing this like post office pith helmet kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
It's just weird, and you never see him in this movie without his post office uniform on.
Oh no, yes, he probably never washes it. He's always got it on, morning, noon, and night. 7 days.
Always got a little ring of sweat around the neck there.
He's like leafing through the girly magazines as he's delivering them, and but you can almost read his mind. It's like too old. Nah, whatever.
But he lives in a boarding house with Large Marge, who makes him runny eggs.
Yeah.
It's full of runny eggs every morning. That was
and strawberry jam.
And strawberry jam. While all the other guys sit there and go,
but that was a great shot.
The news this morning.
We're talking about how the one character falls into a wood chipper, and all we see is him. They actually make that pretty tense because he's fighting to keep from falling in. Before things finally happen and he falls into it, and you don't see anything. You don't see blood splatter. You don't see anything. Right. It cuts directly to a scene of
a plate.
You want some more jam? A white plate with spoonfuls of jam, red jam,
just splotched on there.
I love those
kinda
kind of
thought that
cuts. Like when you think
Yeah,
someone's about to get their, member cut off, and then you see them cut sausage
To a
or
hot
something.
dog. Yes, sausage.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that's
So he
funny.
was a couple years from now, in 1983, he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor in The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas.
Oh my God, I did see that movie because I love Dolly
And
Parton.
The following year, he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor in To Be or Not to Be.
Oh, the Mel
Which is
Brooks.
the
It
Mel
must be a
Brooks
Shakespeare
remake. Yeah,
thing.
so
No, it's very funny. It's a Mel Brooks remake
Oh.
of an old Jack Benny movie. Yeah.
about
Was
playing.
he Concentration Camp Charlie? In that one?
You know what?
Remember.
I don't know who he was. I don't
Whoa.
know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
It might not get made today, but this guy his career seemed to get better as he got older. And I guess when I think of Charles Durning, I always think of him around this age. This is the age that I guess I was
Seems like he's
watching.
always been that age, right?
Yeah.
I think he is. He's Colonel Earhart, which would definitely sound like
Colonel
he'd be a
Earhart.
German.
Okay.
I don't recall it. But you're right. If you look, one of the things I like about the picture you got here, Bill, is that he does, as the movie goes on, he gets wilder and wilder looking.
Yeah.
His hair.
He's losing control. This is a guy who.
Yeah.
Do you
he's
think
in
maybe
charge.
is he the one doing the killings? Like maybe without his knowledge?
That would be
I don't
cool.
know.
But I mean, we, the viewer, have the God's eye view of what's going on, and it's kind of hard to explain these things from a natural point of view. I mean, there's nothing overt. We don't see a scarecrow jump out and throw the guy into the wood chipper. He maybe just tripped.
No.
Maybe he just had incredibly bad luck, but it keeps on happening. And the scarecrow like shows up in the field just by itself, not moving or anything. And that's sort of like the sign you're about to die. But no, this is not a possessed scarecrow running around slaughtering people. It's more like Final Destination.
Oh,
These
fun.
people, yeah. And listen, you can call every single death way before it happens. As soon as we're watching this with my wife, as soon as she saw the wood chipper, she's like, yeah, he's going in the wood chipper. This guy's going to be buried alive.
And that was way early.
Yeah. It's like
very early on. He's throwing wood into this chipper while when Charles Durning drives up in his post office truck. So
yeah, you never see the Scarecrow do anything until the end.
Right. So here's Lane Smith, who was the wood chipper guy.
He's been in that so much too.
He's been in a lot. He was a good Nixon, a really good Nixon down there. But he's one of my favorites because the middle picture there is he was the cowardly dickwad mayor in I'm drawing a blank. Wolverines.
Red Dawn.
Red Dawn, thank you.
Oh, okay.
He's the second worst mayor in cinematic history. The first, of course, the mayor from Jaws. I mean, nobody can even be close.
Yeah.
But a close second place is the mayor from Red Dawn, who like sells out his friends and everything, working with the commies to keep things calm as long as he doesn't lose his job. He was also in V, I believe. Wasn't he like?
Oh, that's maybe where, because I'm like, I know his face big time.
I think he was like a businessman who worked with the aliens. And he was Nixon, so he plays a jerk real well. And that face, boy, how many? Is there an episode of a TV show that he wasn't in? I can't get IMDb up right now. I haven't had some.
That's what I'm.
Well, Charles Durning had over 200 credits. Lane Smith has over 100 credits. And all of these guys have.
Clueless TV series? Huh. I didn't know
The
that.
thing I know from the most was he played Perry White in the Superman show.
That's right. He was in Lois and Clark as Perry White.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm like, oh, I know him. I know that face. It feels like I've seen him in a lot of things, but as I'm looking through, I'm like, well, lots of random shows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was in one of the Alien Nation movies, TV movies, Outer Limits episodes, lots of stuff. So,
I'll bet actors miss those days when there was so many detective shows on, and every week they had to like run across someone new who committed a murder or was accused of it. And like, so like you look at it, whenever you have actors of that time, you look and they were on Simon and Simon. Yeah, they were on Streets of San Francisco. Yeah, they were on Love Boat. I mean, those shows just were
Quincy.
Yeah.
Now he was in the Big Easy.
He was in
the
V,
TV
by the way,
version.
just to confirm. Yeah.
He was in V.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Interesting guy. So I
He has
threw
such
a
a good
couple
look.
more on here,
Sorry.
Bill, just because
Okay.
I wanted to talk about the rest of the main 7. So Jocelyn Brando, who I suppose, hopefully everybody knows that's Marlon Brando's big sister, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Really? Because
But
they look nothing alike.
And that,
Lucky for her.
I love that top picture. That's sort of an arty picture of her as she was in this movie.
Yeah.
But the other one is in, boy, I'm going to feel bad now. I got to look it up.
Big Heat.
Yes. 1953
Jeez, Chad.
film noir. That's just awesome. It's
Yeah.
just a killer movie where Lee Marvin is one of the most vicious
Mhm.
creeps in any movie when he of the time, as he beats up and throws hot coffee on Gloria Graham. But anyway, that's her kissing Glenn Ford.
I think she probably did more stage than film. She was quite good in this.
There's in her bio, there's some pictures of her. She was actually in The Wild Ones.
Oh, wow.
She was also in The Ugly Americans with their brother. So she did some work with him. But I thought and Robert F. Hines in this one plays Skeeter, the stereotypical gas station attendant.
There's always a Skeeter.
Yeah.
And no offense to gas station attendants, because mechanics I can't do that. So, but this guy, he was really good. He did lots of neat little things. Like the time when he hurt his hand and he did a little dance around, going out.
That's
I
right,
just thought
yeah.
that was a nice little touch.
Now, is Skeeter
And
the
then he
one
totally
who ends up
freaked
digging
out.
the grave?
He wore the red
Yes,
cap.
yes,
Yeah.
he wore that
that's
hat
right.
there. That's
Again, not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but none of these guys.
by. No, he's not.
What was
But
that?
he gets killed by Otis P. Hazelrigg, the Charles Durning
First of all,
character. He
Otis
gets killed
P.
by
Hazelrigg
Charles
sounds
Durning.
sounds like a Groucho
character.
Marx name, but yeah,
It
never
does.
sees it
It
coming.
does. And then the last one
And
here
then,
is Claude Earl
wow.
Jones. Who,
Any
What were you gonna
relation
say,
to
Phil?
James Earl Jones?
or Bill?
I do not
no,
think so.
but that's interesting.
No. Oh.
But he owns the grain mill apparently, and he gets nailed in a grain bin.
Yeah, I was
Or
going to
silo, I
ask, hey,
guess.
Crystal, how do you think a guy who owns a grain mill is going to
Mhm.
die? It's like he's either going to be ground up into cornflakes or he's going to be buried in the silo.
Yep. It looks hot. Like he looks hot and sweaty there.
Well, he's a big guy. I mean, in fairness,
He
he's
wa-
probably
he was.
sweaty in the winter.
He was. Well, these guys, I think it was shot in the summer, and he's always running. They're always running through the woods chasing Bubba, or
Yeah, he's
At least
the
in the
guy
first
who
part.
starts having a heart attack and takes
Uh,
out that bottle of nitroglycerin. Whenever people in these movies have a heart attack, they always take that
I had a
bottle of
feeling
nitroglycerin and they start drinking it like it's a
Yeah.
milkshake. And I'm pretty sure that's not what you're supposed to do. I'm
the
not
way
a
you're
doctor,
supposed to do it.
not a doctor, but
Does-
I would say if they give you nitroglycerin in little pills, you're supposed to take it one pill at a time
Under your
I'm
tongue,
pretty
I
sure.
believe.
under your tongue.
My
Yeah, not
dad,
just-
my dad was put on some of that, but I don't
Really?
know how he. Yeah, he had a triple bypass, so like
I will say this is the
Okay.
one movie I've seen where when he reaches for the bottle of nitroglycerin pills, he doesn't immediately do this and they all go flying through the air and he's got to
Yeah.
like crawl on the ground looking for one, which is such a trope.
it's
guess if you're
they
having a
treat
heart
it
attack,
almost like an inhaler, which is interesting.
Yes.
So apparently this was shot in 17 days.
Oh, that's fast.
Okay. Yeah, that's.
And all of the night scenes were night.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
All the night
Frozen.
scenes were from the nighttime? Shot at the nighttime? We can what
Yeah, it
was
sounds like
Jeff saying? All the
He's
nighttime
frozen.
scenes were Chad, your turn. Go.
Night for night.
Night
Cold?
for night. Okay,
Cold?
night for night.
Cold?
We should do this
That-
like Jeopardy.
Yeah.
That
Sounds
sounded legit. No, but he said night for night. We heard another part. We heard night for
Yeah.
night. Night for night.
Okay.
Okay.
So, well, which
Which-
looks better than day for night. I hate day for night.
Yeah.
And Jeff is used to
yeah.
it because Jeff likes westerns, and westerns would do that all the time. It's like, look, it's nighttime, a blue filter, and we just reduce the exposure. Like,
And look at all the shadows of the sunlight coming
yes.
through the trees. Right?
that moon is
Uh-huh.
bright tonight. Look at these shadows. Awful.
But this was, they were a lot of times they were out in the open, right? They're in a field or they chase the dogs take them out in the middle of a field where the Scarecrow is, and so anyway, I guess that part wasn't night, but so I don't know. Do we have anything else we need to cover here?
Going back to the end again, I was reading that
Yeah, good.
it said for the 2010 re-release, there's a 2-second insert shot near the end showing the interior of the tractor that was chasing Otis, and it shows the gear shift lever moving by itself. I don't think I saw that in.
Oh, that's interesting.
Oh yeah, it's in there.
Is it really? Okay, I don't
Yeah,
remember
it's
seeing
in
it.
there on the Prime
Yeah,
Edition.
I think you're right.
Because that's what makes you think. He's out there with the girl, and he's like ready to kill the girl, right?
Mhm.
You're doing all this, and the bulldozer, the lights come on, or is it a tractor? I don't know. It looks more like a bulldozer kind of thing.
It's a pumpkin
Yeah.
decapitator. That's what it is. It's
Yeah.
going through these pumpkins and just
Yeah.
Let's call it a
mutilating them.
tractor.
And you're like, oh, that's going to be Charles Durning's head
But
in a minute.
the lights come on, and and then it shows the cab, and the lever moves back and forth, and then it starts moving forward. There's nobody in it. The lever moves. So that is a.
Well, again,
That's what Bill was talking about, I think. Yeah.
Is it her doing it? Maybe in
Yeah.
a Carrie type way, or is it like is she
The ghosty
manipulating
with
it?
the most.
Ooh.
Or is it a ghost? Is it So I love the way they leave it ambiguous like that.
You're kind of now you're actually getting that to me. Maybe she's a ghost talker.
Maybe.
Or, yeah.
Because her last line to me has a kind of implied almost menace to it.
What did she say?
They keep talking throughout the movie, the hiding game. That's what, did his Scarecrow. And then at the very end, she's sitting there by where he was killed, talking to nobody in particular about how we're going to learn a new game. What was it? The chasing game?
The
was
chase
it?
game, yeah. The chase
chase
game.
game.
Oh, so she was totally talking. Oh, clearly, yeah, she was talking to him, telling him what to do. She was pulling the puppet.
Wow,
strings.
I gotta watch this again now and look at it
Yeah.
from that point of view.
Mm.
Because she does that with the mother too. She goes over to see Bubba, and the mother's like, nobody's told him that nobody's told the little girl that Bubba's dead, and Bubba's mother says, "Well, Bubba's gone." I don't know. They have a conversation, but at some point, doesn't she say something like, "Bubba's dead, but he's not gone. He's here." Yeah, I know he's
See,
dead,
yeah.
but he's here, or
Mhm.
something
Mhm.
like that.
Yeah,
Something like
that's
that.
totally it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This movie
Creepy.
kind
He's
of
just
reminded
protecting
me.
her.
If you like Pumpkinhead, you're going to like this movie because in some ways it's got some parallels here.
Yeah.
I love
Except it doesn't have a
Pumpkinhead.
giant demon. He's an invisible
But
demon.
as a
If there's
giant
demon, we don't
scarecrow.
see him. Well, maybe, yeah. So, yes, it has a very low budget, but those movies back then, they had low budgets. They didn't have special effects. In fact, sometimes when they tried to do special effects in TV movies, you're like, should have kept it in the dark. So a lot of times they did keep it in the dark. They made up for it by hiring good actors that, they had contacts with all these people. And maybe the contract was had to use Charles Durning 3 times a year. That's a Love Boat, a Murder, She Wrote, and a Dark Night of the Scarecrow. I don't know. They were always able to get a good crew who were folks who were dependable, could play a character real well, shoot fast and efficiently, and sometimes they got lucky and had a decent director like this one, where again I'm surprised he didn't do more, who were able to deliver the goods in just 17 days. That's a fast shoot.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, that was
I
a
think
nice
if you
shot
just get
too.
to it, you can get it. You can do it.
Yeah.
I like that.
Well, and these guys are all used to doing TV, so they're all used to working fast, right? I think.
Right.
But there was a nice shot at the end there with the after Hazelrigg is Leghorn. Anyway, there's like a boom shot that the first thing that happens, I think, is the lights turn off on the bulldozer. But there's a sequence of things that happen, and then there's a shot where the camera goes up in the air, and you see the overhead shot of the scene. The bulldozer sitting there, he's laying there, the girl's laying there, and then they cut to where the girl's is she hiding in the corn somewhere, or is she running? I forget, but there's something in that last scene. This is like the third time I saw this in like a week. And I got chills when
you watched it 3 times
in like a week, maybe 2 weeks. I mean, I watched it once just to see if this was. Everybody is saying this is like we should be doing this. You guys need to do this. And I want to say it was Bill Gabriel, and I think maybe even Daphne might have jumped on that bandwagon. I don't remember who all was pumping that up, but.
This has a loyal following, and I see why.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch it now. I'm really sad I didn't get to.
Okay. I'm sorry, Crystal.
No, I'm sorry. I feel bad. It's been a bad week for me, so, it's been a rough one. Yeah.
It's been a bad week for all of us, I think, a little bit in one
way or another. Not me, but okay.
Bill's like, I'm good.
Yeah. If it take too many weeks like this, I just die with a big smile on my face.
Screw you guys, I'm fine.
Fun. Sorry about your sinus infection.
Yeah.
Wah, wah,
wah. That's it for this episode. But every 2 weeks, we'll be focusing on a Pacific film released between 1980 and 1989. Next up is one chosen by Bill.
Dan?
What are we doing,
Oh,
Bill?
That's right. So we will be watching, everyone but Crystal, we will be watching a Lucio Fulci movie.
Oh, nice.
Yes, one that I have not yet seen, but I am pretty sure I know what's going to happen into it because it's Lucio Fulci's adaptation of Edgar Allan Poe's The Black Cat.
Ooh.
Oh, cool. Is it called The Black Cat? Or did
it's called The Black
Cat.
Yes.
Okay.
Also from 1981.
Yes.
And where's it showing? So
YouTube.
People.
YouTube
people.
I got a list of sources. Yeah.
So they can watch it. Although they probably watch The Nest with me.
Well, it used to be the streaming titles, at least from my point of view, would hang around for a while.
Right.
But now they pop on and off with no warning. They're just all over the place. The Nest. I watched The Nest, and we said that's what we're going to do, and the next day it went off of Prime.
Are they listening to us?
What was the other one? We're going to do The Hitchhiker on Classic Era, the old 1953 noir film.
Oh, wow.
And when we first decided to do it, it wasn't listed anywhere, and now it's on Prime. Like 2 days later. Stuff just seems to be popping.
It giveth and taketh away, yeah.
So anyway.
Seems like they definitely don't stay up longer than 30 days, pretty much, though. That's about the max.
Well, and it'll seem like stuff's up there forever until you pick it, and then as soon as you pick it, it goes away.
Right.
Yeah, so
somebody's out there listening to the podcast.
Chad picks stuff like 2 months ahead of time, and then what? It's on Prime. All right. There's plenty of ways to stay in touch. Please send feedback to feedback@gruesomemagazine.com or the Gruesome Magazine YouTube channel. Leave comments. Hit the like button.
Hit the bell.
hit the bell.
Yep.
Oh, subscribe. You must subscribe. You must subscribe. Okay.
Hit the bell after you subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
Catch us again here in 2 weeks for another great horror movie of the 1980s. As only decades of horror can do it. Say good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Everybody.